I got a lot of audience asking about Perplexity Labs and agentic workflow features over on Perplexity. So in this video, let's talk about Perplexity Labs. What is it? What makes it unique or different with deep research mode? And some of the best ways you can use it for your business or marketing. Let's go. So what is Perplexity Labs? On Perplexity, we have basic search, which is like an everyday quick search. And then we have deep research, which also includes in-depth analysis with more sources. But what makes Perplexity Labs unique is it extends this workflow further and also builds ready-to-use business assets. So you can see it's not an upgraded version of deep research, but instead it becomes the creation engine and combines research and building all within the same automated workflow. And so the deep research process is fundamentally the same. So if you just want to do in-depth research without needing it to build assets for you, you actually don't need to use Perplexity Labs, as both of them share the same research engine. To start using Perplexity Labs, just hover to the little light bulb icon and type your prompt with your expected output that you would like it to build. It will start the research process just like a standard deep research, and then initiate the building process. You can easily share the generated app with the share link function, but note that currently it is only for the Pro plan and has a 50 usage limits per month. And if you want, you can also start in deep research mode and then switch to labs to build from your findings, and it's maintain the full context from the chat. But for the sake of demo, in this video, we always start with Perplexity Labs. Perplexity Lab is not perfect yet. For now, there are two key limitations. First, it's difficult to make iterations. For every changes, it will treat it like a new request, and so the final output may differ, and unlike other AI building tools, which have better control to keep the output consistent. And second, security. Unlike Cloud Artifact, Google Gemini, where you can delete any share link anytime, for now, there is no way to revoke the access to a share link after you have copied and distributed. All right, now you have some basic ideas. Here are some of the best ways you can use Perplexity Labs, starting with the first one, prospect research. Traditional lead gen is either expensive databases or hours of manual research, so AI has always been a game changer in streamlining the process. And with Perplexity Labs, we can research on the potential prospect companies who are expanding and build a system to prioritize the outreach efforts. Let's say I run a marketing automation agency and my target companies are those high-growth D2C e-commerce companies. I can use this prompt to ask it to research all my prospect companies, considering the growth indicators like their product launches, market expansion, and the required output, which is an interactive dashboard in this case. And now you can see it will start initiating the research process just like a typical deep research. And then once it's finished, it will start the generation, which is the building part. And after around 10 minutes, the output is ready. And so you will see there are different tabs at the top. An app is where labs present the actual generated tool or dashboard. And assets are all the files generated during the process, like datasets, charts, coding files in this case. Now we can click here to view the dashboard in full screen. So you can see it looks decent with my instructor style. It is showing the summary with the prospect numbers, lead score distribution, industry breakdown with the recent events, which is nice, and the prospect tab. And this is what we're looking for. I love how they present just like a prospect database with company, location, revenue, contact, and you can use the search function as well. It's fully functional. And we can click on any prospect to view the details. And I really like this with all the information, and it makes everything so organized. Of course, you should always fact check the data, but I have randomly checked and these people do exist from this company. But I think the real beauty is how it can speed up your prospecting process and help you to identify some potential targets in your niche, especially if they're not like big Fortune 500 companies that is so easy to find lots of information online. So this would normally take hours of manual research, but Labs now automates the whole process in just around 10 minutes and give you a head start. And it has even prepared a few outreach templates. You can click on it, copy it, and use them directly, which can be a good starting point. And finally, the analytics tab. I love how it presents the geographic distribution, funding status, and the key insights. So this is an incredible use case for Perplexity Labs. And to download all the assets, you can just go back to the Assets tab and click Download All as a zip file. And you can also export this report as a Word file or PDF file, just like a typical deep research process. So everything is super easy and handy. The next use case, product landing pages. Every vibe coding tools can build a landing page, but what makes Perplexity Labs different is always how it combines the research with the building process. Perplexity research on your competitors' messaging and customer language, so the landing page will be much more impactful, backed by data. For example, I'm planning an email marketing product. So here is all the product information with positioning, key features, comparison with competitors, testimonials, CTA with examples. Now go back to Perplexity Labs, attach this product brief, and then give it the context with our target audience information and the research focus to source for users' feedback about our key competitors, their language patterns, feature gap, and output as a fully functional one-page landing page with an interactive calculator tool, our preferred section, and then the design requirement. And again, it will start the typical deep research process and then generate the code files for you. And now the landing page is ready. Let's take a look. And I must say, I am impressed because I didn't expect Perplexity Labs can build such a professional looking landing page just like Claude or Gemini. The headline, the hero section with the CD button, the style, all looking great and professional. So in my experience, you need to spend more efforts in crafting the prompts, so that is the key. And I love this ROI calculator. It makes the experience more interactive and is fully functional where the output will change dynamically. And then the feature call-out boxes with the real customer quote from the research, with the comparison summary information we give, the testimonial, and also the pricing plan. So everything is well put together, but also backed by research. And that is what makes Perplexity Labs unique. And looking at the response, you can see it finds real user reviews from G2, forums, and review sites, and it also actually generates charts like the feature comparison and the pricing growth. So you can also use that for other marketing tasks. And also the customer journey visualization, and it is also in my preferred color tone. And you can always download all the assets file and make further adjustment. And I would say this is one of the most useful cases for almost every business. The next, social media trend tracker. Perhaps one of my favorite ways of using Perplexity is to find recent trends in any topic. So with Perplexity Labs, you can build a trend tracker that monitors conversations across social media in any niche you specify and show you what topics are gaining traction recently. So you can adjust your content strategy and identify any content opportunities. Let's say I want to build a trend tracker around topics related to AI industry updates and developments. Again, give it some context about who this tracker is for, and the research focus should be around AI trends in the last 30 days, from social media with categorization, engagement metrics, and output as an interactive dashboard with our specified criteria like filter, engagement indicator, etc. So it's now researching the latest AI industry trends, news, and discussion, and then start compiling the dashboard. Okay, so here is a trend tracker, and I like the layout. It looks organized and clean with the core metrics summary at the top, the total discussion, overall sentiment across these discussion and engagement. And that means for this niche, sentiment is overall positive, and X platform accounts for around 42% of the discussion from the data it gathered. And I like this grid layout with all the boxes, the gradient bar, and the engagement indicator. So it ranks all the top trending AI topics like GPT-5 launch, AI agent tech, AI startup, multimodal AI, which I think all makes sense to me. And you can filter them as well. The only thing to improve is the number of mentions, so it feels empty without any data proof or links to the original source. But still, I like how it labels them as high engagement, which means having lots of discussion. And then the content opportunities with the most potential emerging topics ideas for your inspiration with the urgency label. Although I would have expected with it to give me more ideas, but it's not too bad. And then the question mining, and I like this, is synthesized from all those real user questions and come up with these question lists. So think about what are the trends you always need to monitor, and you can build a simple dashboard like this and ask it to update the data whenever you need it. The next, competitor intelligence dashboard with brand sentiment analysis. Before Perplexity Labs, we may need to copy and paste the data from Perplexity to another AI, maybe Claude, Gemini for building. But now you can just build an interactive dashboard right away on Perplexity. And not just a simple comparative analysis, we will also include the brand perception analysis, which will be a key factor for brand growth in the AI search. For example, I'm the marketing team from Booking.com and I'm doing research against competitors as well as the brand perception analysis. So we have picked Expedia, Airbnb, Agoda as the target competitors, and we want to compare the features, booking fees, loyalty programs, and brand sentiments by monitoring the social media mentions and output as an interactive competitor intelligence dashboard. And after around 5 to 6 minutes, the dashboard is ready together with the research analysis response. And I must say, I really like this dashboard. It is following my design instruction. It is modern, professional looking, and of course, always double check the source. So in this case, obviously Airbnb is leading the market share, although in terms of sales, Booking.com is still taking advantage. And then the customer pain point widget, it identifies some major issues in the industry, and this is gold. It tells you immediately where the biggest opportunities are for differentiation. And now let's check the brand sentiment. So here we can see an overall score for each brand. You can immediately see Airbnb is leading again, while Agoda ranks the lowest. And below it pulls the actual recent brand mentions, and I really like how it tagged with positive or negative sentiment. But you can see it is pulling last year data, so make sure you specify the year in the prompt, as sometimes I found it will mix up the year. And then the feature analysis tab that give us a clean side-by-side comparison of our brand versus competitors. So this is super practical to see which area you fall short. And if we jump over to the social media tab, we get a snapshot of the share of voice, and this is especially important for AI search. And finally, opportunities. What are the learnings and actions based on the research? So it's saying customer service excellence and pricing transparency as high priority opportunities to gain a competitive edge. It even identifies trending discussion topics like sustainable travel or hidden fee, which most customers care about. So this is fantastic. And of course, once you're done, you can easily share the entire report and the interactive dashboard with your team with the link, as well as the full research output from the chat. The next, go-to-market strategy deck. I'm sure if you're a growth marketer, founder, or business owner, you must have gone through GTM strategy building, regardless of the form it takes. Now with Perplexity Labs, we can research live market data, comparative intelligence, customer pain points, and combine all together with a beautiful consulting-grade strategy deck with charts and saving you weeks of research time and building the draft much quickly. For example, I'm doing a GTM strategy deck for a new online learning platform. So in the prompt, we would give context about our target market, the focus of our product, and then ask it to research around key players positioning like Coursera, Udemy, Skillshare, marketing opportunities, distribution strategy, and output as a presentation with 10 slides with our specific details and design requirements. And then it's researching on the latest online learning platform trends, and then comes up with the deck. For the cover, I think it should be better to use white tags on the dark background, but I think it's a minor issue. And for the content, it's following my style instruction, and I really like it. It's clean and super professional, just like those from big consulting firm with big call-up boxes. So you can immediately communicate the message so clearly, like the market opportunities. But again, make sure to specify the year in the prompt so it gets the latest data. And the competitive landscape, and I love this differentiation metrics. It clearly shows how the new product stands against competitors as you present to executives. All the other slides are really good, and the financial projections also very nicely present. And finally, with the implementation roadmap and success metrics. Although 18 months is long, I like how they present it in an organized view. And you can always just click here to share that with your team. But if you're concerned about security, you can just go back to the SS tape and download all the source file and host it on your own environment. And you can see Perplexity Labs also generate different charts, but it follows our instructions to render them in a final deck. And I have spent a lot of time crafting these high quality Perplexity Labs prompts. So all the output you see in this video looks beautiful, professionally designed, and ready to use in real business situation, unlike those standard Perplexity chart style that you see. If you want to save yourself that effort, you can access all these prompts in my community. You can find the link in the description below. And before you go, I encourage you to watch this video about NotebookLM plus Gemini if you're interested in this research and building workflow to get more inspiration. I will see you next time.